I am the man that will fight for your honor. But like it was like in loop, or like that was like the only song playing in the iPod. And he decided, you know what? I'm gonna kill for you, woman, because I love you. And doesn't matter what's gonna happen. Nobody's gonna keep us apart.
Comic Indie Podcast theme song.
It's a podcast for comic books. What else would you expect?
Welcome to Comic Indie Podcast. My name is Kenneth Javier.
And I'm Alex A.
And today we will be breaking down the book Plastic, #1, published by Image, story by Doug Wagner, and art by Daniel Hilliard and Laura Martin. So, Alex, have you ever been in love?
A few too many times, yes.
You too many times, but it just takes that one to get it right. To make you go
I guess
crazy
you can only really be in love one time in your life, but
That's
some
true.
people say 3 or 4. So
Sometimes
I'm
3 or
not
4.
sure that is.
Well, shoot, I'm working on my third one right now. So, in any event, let's talk about Plastic. It is a story about a man in love. He loves this woman so much that, they're super into the public displays of affection. It's a very hot and heavy relationship as the book opens up on a Ford LTD, a rockin'. So as they say, if this Ford's a rockin', don't come a knockin', because somebody's probably doing it on the inside. So yes, somebody is, and our I don't know if he's our hero yet, but the character of the book is giving his girlfriend a little bit of a workout. They get famished, and he decides to be a gentleman, goes into the store to get her some donuts, because you know what? After, a nice passionate lovemaking, you want to eat some donuts. But as he's in the shop getting some donuts, some hooligans are outside about sniffing around his car, kind of harassing his lady, not treating her with the respect that a lady deserves. And our hero, or our character, decides to go all Jason Bourne on them, breaking some heads, cracking some kneecaps, and basically just going to town on these guys, not in the sexual way, but more in the beating up way. But turns out he might have beat up the wrong person, because one of the people that he did beat up is the son of a Louisiana businessman / mobster / possibly killer, or all out bad dude. So the mobster dad ends up kidnapping his lady. And now, in order for his lady to return home safely, he has to work for the mobster and do his bidding so that his love can be returned. And oh, by the way, his love is not a lady, but a rubber sex doll. So, and that's kind of where the book is. What are your initial thoughts there, Alex?
There's a lot of thoughts here, so it kind of throws me off to think that this guy is going all out for a blow up doll. But I mean, you can see in the first few scenes, it's quite an intense relationship. I mean, literally, you have 3 or 4 panels where you get the words or the word effects squeak, squeak, squeak. And then you see the hand brushing up against the window for a really foggy scene.
Right. So speaking of hand against the window, Titanic style, is the car the best place to do it, or most romantic? What are your thoughts?
It's the typical spot for a high school type of romance. After you go to a school prom, kind of like after kind of deal, or maybe a school dance, you sneak out right afterward and well, kids are going to be kids, so there's going to be some experimentation going on. But in this case, there's a little bit more than regular experimentation.
Definitely agree. So, I know those Motel 6 or Red Rooftop Inn bills can get kind of expensive. I wouldn't know anything about that because I'm a gentleman, and I don't do that with my ladies on their dates initially. But in any event, car, hey, if that's where they're moved to, or that's, when you want to be spontaneous, that's where our character goes. So definitely after their workout, he decides to go get some donuts from the local donut shop or convenience store.
And lo and behold, they're cream-filled.
They are cream-filled after he gives her the cream-filled. Look at that entendre right there. Comic Indie Podcast just being gross. Anyways, so...
Well, it's kind of hard not to. The whole comic is based on something gross.
Yeah.
Well, not to say gross, maybe for us it is.
Right? I mean, we're not here to judge, to each
We're not here to judge, exactly.
You love what you want to love. This is America. But in any event, after doing it, donuts, is that a delightful surprise, or, what is that? What do you think about that? Is that
That's kind of that hunger snack you get right after a good session, I would say.
Right? I don't know. I don't know if this is what the kids are doing now. They get donuts after doing it in the Ford. But definitely a nice choice of food with the cream filled. As he comes, to deliver the donuts to his lady friend, it looks like he gets in a little fisticuffs or in a little bit of a fight over these guys kind of sniffing around his lady, disrespecting her. What are your thoughts on that, Alex?
Yeah, at first I thought, these guys probably thought that this was a real lady, and they might have said some things that offended him. But he took it to heart. He went over there. He broke some arms. But then one of the guys mentions something that's very interesting. He called him. Literally calls him balloon effer. So he knows it's a blow up doll. They knew it was a blow up doll, and they were just having some fun. So that kind of changes up everything for me. This guy he's got to have a few screws loose there to take it to heart in the way that he did, to, break some arms. And he even got to the point of stuffing down the toilet scrub down somebody's mouth and pretty much ripping out his mouth or something. There was a lot of blood involved there.
Yeah, very, very visceral and bloody scene. We didn't even talk about what the toilet brush was for. So when he's buying the donuts for his lady friend, he's also buying a bristle brush, I'm assuming, to clean out the plastic lady parts.
And he knows she likes soft bristles. Just thought I'd throw that in there.
He's a very sensitive lover and a very tender gentleman, I suppose. But yeah, he definitely asked the clerk, is this the softest brush that is available? But talking about this fight and breaking legs and stuffing, brushes down, this guy's throat. He does some pretty Jason Bourne type stuff, right? This isn't like a normal, I'm a swing or I'm gonna attack you to the ground. This is like some ninjutsu judo type, Krav Maga type stuff.
And considering these guys are sons or affiliated with mobsters, these guys have to have some skills up their alley too. So not enough to bring down Mr. Doll Lover, though.
Right. So kind of speaking of some Jason Bourne type stuff, this kind of leads me to think, is this guy ex-military? Is this guy maybe a fighter? Who is this guy? It's one thing, you just kind of give that little shove or you grab the shirt and you say, step off, bro, or leave my lady alone, right? But this guy just goes, from 0 to like 101 and just really delivers the beat down on that guy.
Yeah. I would have to say he probably is ex-military. Later on down the road, whenever he gets kidnapped and everything, the guy sniffs for his wallet. He's able to find out his identification, maybe looking him up through Google, and figure out this guy had 10 years within government. And that's what we definitely do know. It's 10 years in government, but we don't know in what affiliation.
Probably, yeah. This is true. Yeah, Alex, you think he might have been a postman and just kind of went postal, and that's how he's all nuts making love to dolls?
Very skilled postman, that's for sure.
That is a government job. My parents always wanted me to be a postman because they said you have good retirement. I'm sorry, parents, I let you down. I do comic indie podcasts now.
Yeah, as long as it's government related, you can just sit back, relax, enjoy the benefits. There's always going to be some pension or something good involved in that. I should know. I work for government, so.
Okay, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Hey, I also have a job, non-government, but government might be the way I want to go. Just in any event, let's talk more about this doll. So again, Alex, I was doing research for this book, and I promise you this. So I was looking
for research
online,
only, huh?
For research only because of this book.
Okay.
I had to prepare for it. So. Can you believe, or let me ask you this: how much would you spend for a realistic looking love doll?
Yeah, I've actually never considered that. I don't know if I ever will. It seems a little strange for me.
Hypothetically, if you were like a weirdo, right? How much would you pay?
If I were a weirdo, I'd probably pay maybe $200. I would say. Okay,
well, let's add like a 0 to that, and then after adding a 0, let's add another 3,000 to that, because these suckers, and again, research only through Amazon.
That's right. Yeah.
For this book, you can pay upwards to $5,000 for a realistic looking love doll. That's a lot of money, Alex.
Wow, there's some pennies.
That's like a down payment on a car. Or, you could, I don't know, you could get maybe, a lifetime subscription to eHarmony or something. You
can get yourself a nice electric scooter.
You can get yourself a nice electric scooter. Speaking of scooters, and I'm glad you said that, do you think making love to a love doll is like making love to a big lady? Because
I wouldn't know. I would imagine it would be somewhat like making love to a lady. I wouldn't know if you put the right lubrication on there.
I'm just saying a big
I know
lady,
it would be like making love to a scooter, though.
Oh no! See, we messed up the joke, Alex. So the joke is that much like riding a scooter is like making love to a big lady. It's fun to ride one, but you never want to have anybody know that you're doing it in public. Oh, right. Oh my God! Did we just fat shame? Are we fat shaming big ladies? To all the big ladies, I love you. I love your bodies. I'm just kidding. I'm big myself. Okay. Big people need love too, but we also need to laugh. We're not laughing at you. We're laughing at the scooters, though.
We're laughing with you as well.
With you as well. Big ladies need love too. Oh my God, we're just alienating all of our big readers. All right. So in any event, let's go back to this expensive love doll. Do you think you could possibly? Oh, actually, you could, because I did my research. You could buy one through Amazon. Speaking of buying through Amazon, if you don't have Prime and you had to pay shipping on this thing, how much do you think a love doll would weigh?
Ooh. It depends how realistic you want it, I would imagine. If you're going for the cheaper blow-up doll, I would probably think not much for weight there, but some people might want that real feel of a woman there, so there might be some weight involved there.
I don't know, but I'm just saying that's a lot of money. So I guess it should be pretty heavy. But again, if I'm spending $5,000 on something, I don't think I would want to even use this thing. I just want to look at it because I don't want to get it dirty or ruin it. It's kind of like when your parents would buy a new TV or a couch and they wouldn't take the plastic off growing up. Did your parents ever do that?
No, I had some aunts that did that though. Okay,
but I'm just saying, if your aunt spent $5,000 on a love doll, that doll would be wrapped in plastic because you know what? Your dirty hands are going to mess it all up. Right. So definitely an interesting choice in girlfriend. So let's kind of move on to that mobster kingpin or father there. So his son gets his ass kicked. He goes to his dad. He's all like, "Dad, I got my ass kicked." And then mobster dad has to kind of clean up his mess. So as a son, yourself, and I'm a son, obviously, everybody's somebody's son. Would you go to your dad and say you got your ass kicked?
Not if I knew it was an abusive father, like the one that's portrayed here. I mean, for all I know, it'd be like the one story of the guy that takes his son, who got his ass whooped by the bully, takes his son back to the bully to get his ass whooped over and over again until he saw that maybe there was some chance of him winning. But no. Not in no ways if he was a mobster king as well.
Right. And I think earlier when we were talking about this book, you had mentioned that the mobster actually broke his son's hand for getting his ass kicked or something with the golf club.
Right. Yeah. He wants to teach him a lesson. So what he tells him is, well, he kind of puts him down first by comparing him to his weak emotional mother, saying, she had some untimely death. It was unfortunate for her, but, kind of puts her down in a way, saying that she had some issues there, and now he needed to be taught the lesson. So he asks for his hand, he takes out the golf club, and before you know it, a scene cuts over to our lovely doll lover holding hands with Virginia. I think that's her name.
So meet Virginia. She's the
Virginia.
Doll. Yeah. So you're absolutely right. We got some juxtaposition going on. Did I say that right, Alex?
That's right. Yep. We got some education going on there.
Indie podcast, changing the game with some literary or some film type words, saying the word juxtaposition, showing a broken old hand versus the hand of a plastic lover. But that lover doesn't stick around too long because this mobster kingpin guy ends up kidnapping her, and then he basically holds her for ransom, saying that if you want your fake lady friend back, you work for me now, and you use some of those Jason Bourne skills that you used on my son on the people of my choosing. What are your thoughts on that, Alex?
I thought that was very interesting. This guy has to have some intelligence. First off, he never disrespects him. He kind of shows him some of the most respect that he can, even though he knows this guy's a weirdo. And he pretty much says that I need a man of your talent. So he puts them to the use. For him to know that this guy is willing to kill for this doll, is a whole different story. I mean, this guy is on a different playing field.
Definitely in a different game all itself. It's like he was listening to that song that I am the man that will fight for your honor. But like it was like in loop, or like that was like the only song playing in the iPod. And he decided, you know what? I'm going to kill for you, woman, because I love you. And, doesn't matter what's going to happen. Nobody's going to keep us apart. So definitely this guy's got a few screws that are loose, and he is not all there.
I guess it would be going, I am the man who will kill for your honor. Yeah. Karate Kid Part 7, The Twisted Karate Kid.
The Twisted Karate Kid, right? Now I'm thinking of a Karate Kid pun that has to do with sex dolls. Can't figure it out just yet. But hey, you the listener out there, if you think of a good Karate Kid sex doll pun, please post it in the comments below. That would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, we could see those comments blowing up.
Oh, done. Very well done, Alex. Very well done. So speaking of very well done, this book I thought was very well done. And it kind of ends on our hero or character being dispatched on a mission. What do you think that mission is? And do you think he's going to end up killing some folks?
I think that mission is about him being a hitman and being used by them and him being completely okay with it. The last scene that we get is with him being knocked out by one of the mobster's foes, or I guess minions, if you will, and he wakes up in a car with a lovely little note saying, if these guys wake up, Virginia won't. So he's got a new task there. And we don't know where it's going to take him, but he's up for it. He's totally willing to do the dirty duty.
Wow, definitely indeed. So talking of duties, let's go ahead and do our duty and take him to school. And let's give this book a score. So let's start with art-wise. Alex, what do you score in this book at?
Art, I'm going to have to say, I'm going to give it I was pleasantly surprised with it. It is an issue 1, so I do expect for people to take a little bit more consideration with the issue 1. It was a little bit better than the last review for Black Cloud, so I'm going to give it a 6.5.
6.5. Okay. I'm right with you there. I kind of like the art. It was pretty cool looking. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. But I'm going to go around that realm and go right about 7. So let's move on to story. How'd you like the story?
The story was very easy to read. If I wanted to, I could read it maybe 4 or 5 times during a span of 20 minutes or 15 minutes. It's very quick, very easy to read. You go through the panels like nothing, so I do appreciate that. However, there's not much complexity going on here. So and I kind of like a story to have a few more layers. So for that, I'm going to give it a 7.
Okay. I actually like the story, and again, 7 is a good score, but I'm going to go ahead and give it an 8. Definitely, I thought it was a nice twist to the girlfriend being stolen and fighting for her honor with the blow up sex doll. I don't think I've ever seen a story to where somebody is kind of exploiting. I don't know if he has a disability or he's just bonkers, but definitely I thought the story was interesting. Very big time kingpin moves by kind of exploiting this guy's fear for the death of his love doll. Originality, where do you land on this one, Alex?
Well, I've never read a story like this. This is definitely up the high scale for originality for me. You throw in a blow-up sex doll, and you got a completely different story, in my opinion. So I'm going to give that a 9.
Okay, 9 is a very good score. I'm going to go a little bit of the other direction. Originality-wise, I'm going to say 7, and here's why. Again, was a really good story. That's why I gave it an 8. But 7 is because I think they've taken an arc that we've seen from time and time again, whether it be video games like Dragon's Lair or Double Dragon or any video games with the name Dragon in it, where your girlfriend gets taken. And now you got to save her, and you'll pretty much do anything to save her by killing things or punching things in the face. But it makes it a nice, interesting twist by adding the love doll element. So pretty much for all you comic book writers out there, if you want to write a nice comic book story and submit it to Image, just pick any old, open source tale and change the female character to a love doll, and now you got an original story. I'm going to go 7 on this one, Alex.
All right, so I guess my score was what, 7.55?
Yep, and I had about a 7.33. So when we put it in our nice little comic grading spreadsheet here, comes out to a grand total, or average, not grand total, comes to an average of 7.41. So Alex, this book is certified. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely got our certification there. 7.41 is like a C minus, but it's a very, very easy to read, and it's a very I guess it's a recommended book, in my opinion.
Definitely comic indie certified, coming in with the 7.41 C minus, and much like college, C's get degrees, boys and girls. So definitely we like this book, Plastic. So well done on this book, Plastic.
Good job.
Any final thoughts, Alex?
Well, I'd like to thank everybody for listening so far, and we do have a website now that everybody can go to, but I'm sure you can expound a little bit more further on that.
Yeah, definitely, Alex. So speaking of websites, comicindie.com is up and running and is live, so please stop by and set a spell. Check out all the great content on comicindie.com. We have awesome interviews. We have articles written by many talented creators. We have, of course, the Comic Indie podcast posted weekly, and also a great new YouTube game show called Draw Fight, which premiered this week as well. So definitely check it out. Stop by comicindie.com. For Comic Indie, my name is Kenneth Javier.
And I'm Alex A.
And thank you for listening to Comic Indie Podcast.
Comic Indie Podcast theme song.
It's a podcast for comic books. What else would you expect?